Right, so we're going to do the introduction to App Engine Studio, and we're going to build a small record producing app to populate a database. Right, so go into All, type in App Engine, and then click on App Engine Studio, and it'll open up in a new window. All right, so we're just waiting for that to open up. So when it does, so we obviously want to create an app. So we're going to click on Create. Then name the app. Now this one is going to be called Safety because it's a safety issue tracking app, which is part of the demonstrator. And then we're going to give it a short description. So this application will allow users to log and track safety issues. Now there is a logo to add to it. Now I've already downloaded the logo, so we can upload that. And then we click Continue. Now with regards to the roles, adding roles and whatnot, we're not going to change anything. This is just a demonstrator, so just need to move through to the next stage. And then we want to go to the dashboard. Right, so the next thing that we want to do, we want to add a table. Now, we want to add a table or upload a spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a table by uploading a spreadsheet. So we're going to upload the spreadsheet. Now I'll just continue there. I've already downloaded a demonstrator for this, so we can just upload that. On this particular situation, we want to import the spreadsheet data as well. So there are a few entries already in there, already pre-populated for us. And then we want to continue. Right, so when this first uploads into the database, then everything is uploaded as a string type, but that's not necessarily what we want. We want to do different types of data binding. So we're going to change the string for opened by to a reference type. Now the table that we're going to use is a user table. And once you type in user, it's more of a search box where it'll populate the list with anywhere where the word user is used, and we want specifically the system user, sys user. And then we're going to go to location. That is another reference type, so we're going to click on that, and then we're going to do the same thing here. So location, and there we go, location, and then we want the CMN location. So state is going to be a choice. So this we're going to have a number of choices in there. And then short description, that is just going to stay as a string. Date is going to stay as a string. Now priority and category are both going to be choices. And then the assigned to is going to be a reference type again. And we're going to use the same list in this particular case as the user, sys user, and then we're going to continue. So we need to label this. So we're going to label this issues, and then this will be automatically populated, and we're going to auto number, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to prefix this with SAFT, and the rest of it should be fairly straightforward. Actually, I'll take the S off that because we just want to have one issue. Right, so for adding permissions to the table, because this is a demonstrator, I don't want to take any risks, and I just want to continue through. And then we're just waiting for this to populate the table. Right, so this may take a few minutes, as they say, but not necessarily. So we're going to edit the table. And then the number, we're going to, the number field specifically, we're going to turn that on for display, toggle the display value on. So this is the number here. So we're going to toggle the display on, and then we have 3 choices, 4 choices and 4 choices for the category, priority and the state. So for the 3 choices, we actually have big, medium and small pre-populated, so we're going to accept that. For the priority, we are going to have the values critical, high, moderate and low pre-populated. That's ideal for us there. And then for the choices, there's 4 choices. We've got closed, complete, open, pending and work in progress. So that's ideal for us there, right? So we're going to save that, and then we're going to close and come out of that. This takes us back to the app home, right? So that's the data aspect of it. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to create a record producer. So, we want to create an experience. The experience that we're going to create is actually going to be the record producer interface, right? So we're going to select add the experience and choose the record producer, right? So we're going to get started with this. And then for the record producer, we're going to give it a name, and the name is to report a safety issue. Quite straightforward. And then a short description, which is see something, report something, be safe. So there we go. That won't take long to get into place. And then we're going to edit that record producer. So this is where all of the questions and the detail goes into it, right? So so we have the item name and the short description, which is what we just populated. So we want to attach a file. It's just an image. So we attach a file, and it's going to be literally the safety logo that we used before. And then we're going to add a quick or a small description in the description field here, just to give it a bit more information. And then we're going to continue through. I better save that. And then continue through to the location. Now the location, basically we're just choosing the table that we want to bind to. So the issue table, and then we want to click on through the location. Now, where can people find your record producer, your widget, basically, right? So the service catalog is where we're going to place this, and in the category we're going to put this in the can we help you section. That makes sense. So we're going to move that through there and then continue on to the questions. Right, so we're going to add 4 questions. So we're going to insert a new question, and it's going to ask you about the type of question, the type of field that we want to embed, basically, right? So we are going to pick a choice type of question, and then the subtype is going to be fixed values, right? So we're going to be mapping it to a specific field, like all of them, and this is for the category specific. So the label that we're going to add the label is going to be the question, right? So what is the size of the issue? With a question mark, there we go, and we're going to make this mandatory. So the choices, because it's a choice question, we're going to add some choices. So what size is available? Well, we've got big, medium, and small, right? So, and then if we just do a preview on that, we've got the big, medium and small, and there's no extra instructions there. So what we can do, we can add annotation for an instruction, to show an instruction. So if this is life or death, then call emergency services. Right, so if I click out of that, you will see that a little question mark pops up there. There we go, question mark, a little information icon pops up there. So if we click on the information icon, if this is life or death, then call emergency services. Right, there we go. And then we're going to insert that question there. Right, so we're going to add another question, next question. And the type is going to be, well, this is a date. a date that we want to add. So we just want to add the date there, the question subtype, mapping it to due date specifically, right? So when do you need this resolved? So when do you need this resolved? And then make that mandatory because you need the date. And then we're going to insert that question. Add another question, and this is going to be a choice again. So we're going to have choice, and then drop down fixed values. No, sorry. Actually, this is going to be reference, and then we're going to map this to the location field, making this obviously make this mandatory. But the question label is where did this issue take place? Where did this issue take place? And then we have additional tasks to carry out whereby we need to link the source for the reference table, which is going to be the location table again. So we want the CMN location, and then we don't want any of the additional filtering and whatnot, so we're just going to add that question as it is there. And then we have one last question, and this is going to be text multi-line because this is specifically to be mapped to the short description. So please provide please provide a brief description of the issue, make that mandatory again. Nothing else to add to that, and we just insert that question. So basically that's all 4 questions, and then we could preview it if we want to, but there's no need to. We just go to continue to settings. The only setting that we're going to select here is hide, add to wish list, and then continue to access. There's nothing that we actually need to change here, but to be on the safe side, we're going to add this for any user just in case, and then we're going to save the changes, and we're going to continue on to review and submit. Right, so you can review this quite quickly, but it's a very small feature to add. So we're going to click submit, and that's it, complete. So we return to my application. So this is the this is obviously the App Engine Studio. So how do we test that what we've done is actually is operational, right? So, well, first of all, we need to check that the data that we've got in the table that we've added and we've bound to the record producer has the data in it that we expect it to have, or the demo data, but doesn't have anything else. So we just confirm that by clicking preview. And then if we go to the very end, you can see that we have issue 1027, and that's the last issue that we have, and this is numbered accordingly, right? So that is the last, that is the last one, right? So we close this down, and then we go to the ServiceNow home, and what we're actually going to go to is the service portal specific. So this will open in a new window. And we're now going to look for the record producer that we've just created. So we want to click request something, and then can we help you? This is where we popped it in the service portal, and report a safety issue. This is what we've just built. See something, report something, be safe. There we go. Right, so this is the record producer that we've just created, and report big, medium, or small safety issue. So these are the 4 questions. So let's complete these 4 questions. So what are we going to choose? Well, we'll choose small. When do you need this resolved, right? I mean, there could have been a lot more detail added to this, but this is nice and simple. So let's say that we want this resolved within the week. Where did this issue take place? Now, this is the populated location reference table. It's got Roswell, so we'll select Roswell, and please provide a brief description of the issue. Well, lights in the sky seems quite apt for that particular location, and we probably should report that. So let's submit that. So we've submitted it. We have a little reference number there, 1028, and the title of lights in the sky. So how do we know that that's actually populated or populated a line item in the database that we've just created? So we go back to the App Engine Studio and we go straight back into the preview for the data table. And it should be at the very end. If I go to the very end, as you can see, we have a 1028 Roswell. It's a small issue and there are lights in the sky. So that's a very simple data binding with a record producer inside the service portal.